Hello everyone, my name is Charles Ugo from U-Graffix Designs. I'm a photographer and a graphic designer, and I'm here to share with you 10 things that graphic designers wish that you knew but they will never tell you. If you're a client who has worked with a graphic designer before or you're here to patronize one, this knowledge will help you and give you better insight and understanding to what really goes in our heads whenever you're around. You see, graphic design is not something that you just get it right in the first try. Even if a design took very short time to do, I trust you that designer might have tried various options already before giving you that result. They might be fast, they might be slow, depending on the amount of trials that has come to their head and depending on how fast they are willing or are able to execute these trials. That is why sometimes a graphic designer will tell you an idea which you brought will not work because he has already tried it and seen that it's not going to work. So when he tells you this, believe you me, it's not going to work most of the time. But if you're a graphic designer and you've not tried that process, but in your mind it feels like it's not going to work, just give it a try. It's not going to hurt. And if it works, then you are good to go. The client has actually saved you extra time in thinking and has helped you achieve the design that is good and palatable. But as a client, just know that a design does not just come out by magic. There are so many trials and errors, there are so many back and forths that go on. So when you are bringing your own back and forths, please try and minimize it because you're not going to kill us with work. You see, sometimes finding inspiration can be termed plagiarism if one is not careful. There is difference between stealing like an artist and copying a design. When someone copies a design, they just take the design verbatim. If you keep them side by side, one looks like the original and one looks like the copy. They are not the same thing with inspiration. Inspiration comes from when we designers go around, see other things that other designers have done, get inspired from TVs, get inspired from adverts, get inspired from package designs, and so on and so forth. When we've gotten inspired from these things, we can pick a color concept or a combination, we can pick a font style, we can pick a write-up style, or whatever it is that we can pick and get inspired from it. That is the thing that's going to help us create a very good design. But when you bring a design to us as a client and say, copy this design like this, if it is not your company design and your template already, and you expect us to maintain that template, please don't do it. It is called stealing, and we are not thieves. We make our money genuinely by doing honest work and making honest living and living from our own sweat and blood and flesh. Have you had any designer ask you for what your budget is in a design? And this question usually comes when it has to do with branding process. You see, this question is not just to know how much you are going to pay them so that they will now be lucky that they didn't charge you lower. No, the truth is there are designs that cannot be afforded by a particular amount of money. So when you are doing a business branding, for instance, and a designer asks you what is your budget, feel free to tell them how much you've budgeted for it. And when we ask you for this, we are trying to know if your payment can cover for a logo. Whenever you're asked what is your budget, try to have a deeper understanding on that and not just see it as something that the designer is trying to know how much you are going to pay them so that they will be lucky not to charge you lower. I do ask you what your budget is sometimes so that I'll just know how much of my service that you can actually afford. Then I'll show you how you can get to that. And if your budget does not reach the requirements that we want, we can look for a lower requirements, cut out on some things that don't really matter and focus on those ones that matter so that you can just get going. Not every designer is a master of every software. There are tons of softwares, and if I start mentioning them, they might fill the screen. But the main thing is, every designer has a strength in every software that they use to make their designs, and this can influence the kind of designs that they make using that software. What you should focus on as a client is if they are able to get you the desired results that you want, and if they are good at that software that they are using, because they will have a better understanding of it. Please do not force a designer to use a software that they are not conversant with. You might end up reducing their efficiency. But when you allow them to fly free, using the software that they're comfortable with, using the platform that they're comfortable with, you might as well get the best out of them. Constructive feedback is very, very important as a graphic designer. We need it. We want to know what it is that you want us to change in a design, what it is that you don't like, and what it is that you like in a design. But while you're making these feedbacks, be constructive about it. Don't just dismiss a creative's hard work by saying, I don't like this. You see, the thing about creativity is that we put a lot of effort into these things and we end up loving it sometimes. And when someone just comes out of the blue to tell you that they don't like what you just did, it can be very demoralizing and it can affect that designer tomorrow when you come to work for them. They can say this guy is hardly impressed and they might not even respond to you. So when you are dealing with designers, learn communication very well. There are things that you can say you don't like, but the way you present it can make them listen to you. Now, this does not excuse designers and people that are hard to correct, people that don't listen. This does not excuse them, but make sure that you did your own part right so that whenever we are in the law court judging the designs that someone has made and you refused it, who will know who is at fault. You see, when we're talking about deadlines here, you already know what it means. But the issue is, if you need a design urgently and you meet a designer to give you that design urgently, it might affect how creative they will be in that design. They might not really think very well. They might not really have enough time to explore, especially if it is an area they are not familiar with already. If it's an area they are familiar with, the case might be different. They might just get you the design that you desire in no distant time. But if it is something that they are not already familiar with and you want them to do that job, please give them the time or just leave them and find someone else. I'm available. Most clients are fantastic to work with. I'm very sure you, my friend, might be one of them. But the thing is, there are some clients that whenever the designer sees the message, they are instantly, and won't just message me, literally. So whenever a designer sees their message, they're instantly depressed and distracted, and they don't just want to work with this person. Some might go as far as blocking you, some might just leave you. And if a client from hell, you would know by your disturbance, by being someone that does not listen to the designer's idea, you will know by being that client that the designer takes too long to respond to every time. You know that you're that person that the designer only responds to you when they have the time and strength to talk to you. And their response is not always conversational. It's just one line, yes, no, maybe, and so therefore. So please come out from hell. Be ye transformed. Be a client from heaven and let the Holy Spirit shine upon you today so that you will be someone that will be loved by graphic designers. Amen. However, if designers find a way to discard you as a client from hell without it affecting their work professionally or their professional status, they will not waste time to do it. Nobody likes to work with a client from hell. It's hard for a designer to just sit down and create something out of his mind. Not like we cannot do it, but the market demands are so tight and they are so much that we might not even have the time to do as young designers have more time. But while they are trying to develop themselves, they might end up volunteering a lot and that will also take their time. So you as a business owner who has developed your business out of passion, value that designer that does not even have the passion for your business but is giving you designs that will help your business grow. They are very valuable. Value them. This is when a design will be very good, very nice, very beautiful, but the designer himself will feel like you as a client might not like it. And The joy that they gain in their hearts when they send you the design and you are, yes, this is good. It is unexplainable. No one can tell you this, but the truth is, we enjoy those kind of yes moments, those wow moments, those great moments, because it means that they did a very good job. It means that you were not able to see the faults that they are seeing in their designs, in their job, and not necessarily because there is fault in their design or in their job, but because the imposter syndrome is there to tell them you are not good enough, this person is not gonna like this, and so on. Those things can dampen their morale. Some might even do a design for you and send it to you 2 days later. And lastly, burnout is real. Burnout is just when you get fatigued and tired, because there are so many designs that are unstable. There are so many things that they're doing, and sometimes it is not even design related. It could be other activities from every other thing and every other society that they are, because they are not robots and they are not just sitting down designing 24 hours. They can easily get tired from a lot of other things that affect their life as well. So when a designer, either in-house or a remote designer, is not really up and doing, give them a little time. They might just be resting, they might be very tired. Allow them to rest, give them that space, and hope that they will come back very soon, because burnout can take a day and sometimes it can take much more longer. And so, when you are with your designer in this kind of situation, allow them to breathe and they will appreciate you when they are back. And that is it, guys, for everything 10 things basically that designers wish you knew but they will mostly never tell you about. And if you liked this video, please do well to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. My name is Charles Sugo and I'm a graphic designer and photographer. If you want to know how you can start a thriving business, this video is going to help you. See you next time and goodbye.